I got your Tic Tac band.
Well guys, it looks like TikTok might officially be getting... There's been talks about this for a very long time, and now we are finally seeing the issue come to a head, and the matter is about to head into Supreme Court tomorrow. So 9 months ago, the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary-Controlled Applications Act was proposed to Joe Biden, who quickly signed this bill.
I just signed into law the national security package that was passed.
Do I know it's the U.S. only, but isn't the U.S. like the biggest users? Like, you think about it, like, I don't want my video to go big in Canada. Like, about it goes big in the U.S. That's lit, bro. There's so many people there. Oh, I guess, yeah, they would. But like, when it comes to Western media, like, U.S. would be on top with it. So it's like, as a Canadian, I'd rather have my video pop off in U.S. than Canada type. You know what I mean? So like, it affect me in that sense, because that's a big user base still that I'm aiming for. That's my demographic per se.
By the House
in this bill.
I just signed into law the national security package that was passed by the House of Representatives this weekend and by the Senate yesterday. It's going to make America safer, it's going to make the world safer, and it continues America's leadership in the world, and everyone knows it.
This was something that both Democrats and Republicans unanimously agreed on.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was unanimous. I heard that the Supreme Court can block it, or somebody can buy it at the last minute here, but they're really starting to run out of time now, so.
That the App Store overall needed more regulation and less foreign involvement, especially from our enemies.
When it comes to media apps like TikTok, we are failing our children and we are failing our country. Why in the hell would we allow a foreign adversary like the Chinese Communist Party to control a technology platform and key source of information that reaches half of the United States population?
Like I said, TikTok specifically has been on the chopping block for years, as it has long been feared that China is using it as not only a tool to collect data.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it seems very specific to the U.S. It's kind of funny. Like, what about everybody else? Like, what if Canada made an app that was popping? We're not allowed to have it popping, but I get that. I get it.
Of the United States population.
Like I said, TikTok specifically has been on the chopping block for years, as it has long been feared that China is using it as not only a tool to collect data and information on Americans, but also to launch what I see as the new digital war, the war on misinformation. Because of this, TikTok has been viewed as a threat to America's national security for quite some time. They even introduced a No TikTok on Government Device Act years ago to combat this potential information theft.
TikTok had to admit that, in fact, they'd been surveilling the locations of specific U.S. reporters that have been writing unfavorable stories about the company.
So basically, the government claimed...
I didn't know they were doing that with their app, bro. Nah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, anybody could just pop up a new app the next day. Like, it doesn't have to be from them. But, like, I'm pretty sure YouTube Shorts, they're just like, okay, come on, please, please, please. I'm sure Mark Zuckerberg and Meta's probably, like, wanted to come up with something if TikTok's banned. Like, all these other companies are foaming at the mouth right now. More Americans steal info. That's a good point. There's so many other things that are buying and selling and using your info. That's a good point. Honestly, I know.
That TikTok got caught with their hands in our cookie jar. I mean, when you sign up on their platform, you do give them access to what you're watching on your phone, how long you're watching it, your private messages, your geolocation, your age, your search and browsing history, and even your keystroke data, and even that kind of just scratches the surface of what they can be looking at. Basically, it's kind of like you're leaving your front door open at night, hoping no one peeks in to see what's going on. And with over 170 million Americans currently using their platform on the daily, that is a lot of information they can be gathering. And in them passing that bill I mentioned earlier, they gained the ability to force TikTok to cut ties with their Chinese-based parent company ByteDance.
Oh, they did
that? It's either that or they can lose all access to their American...
Wait, he said they did that or they're forcing?
I mentioned earlier, they gained the ability to force TikTok to cut ties with their Chinese-based parent company ByteDance. It's either that or they can lose all access to their American consumers, and this is something that could go into place as early as January 19th. I mean, they must really feel like China is up to something, as this was classified as an emergency, and the Supreme Court agreed to settle the dispute only 2 days after it was placed on their desk. Now, obviously, some people argue that this is a violation of freedom of speech. While the government says they're concerned with China advancing their own geopolitical interest and spreading misinformation, especially during a time of crisis. And the real worry for the freedom of speech crowd is that this would essentially open the door for the government to target other free speech platforms for the content they carry. I mean, I do have to say,
it says
I've
president
seen
for some
more
stuff.
propaganda and complete and utter nonsense posted onto Twitter in the last 18 months than I've ever seen on TikTok. And on the other side of things, TikTok has already said back last April that they are going to be refusing to sell the company and that it would actually be impossible for them to do so, with their reasoning being that they do not want to sell their secret sauce that makes their algorithm so addicting. And then to make matters even more interesting, Trump is actually directly opposed to the banning of TikTok.
Is he?
He'll never ban TikTok, that's for sure.
I will never ban TikTok.
Thank you.
I thought he was on the other side of the fence. Interesting. Government already runs the media. True that, bro. Thankful you're British Geo. Yeah, bro. There's times like these where I'm thankful I'm in Canada. We just be doing our own dumb shit, though.
Banning of TikTok.
And you'll never ban TikTok, that's for sure.
I will never ban TikTok.
Thank you.
Which is the opposite of the stance that he had back in his first term when he actually tried to get it banned.
We're looking at TikTok. We may be banning TikTok. We may be doing some other things. There are a couple of options.
But back then, Biden was actually the one to block the bill once he took office. So they straight up switched positions. Pause. Trump actually met with TikTok CEO recently, and he praised the platform as a whole for helping him win the last election.
How do you plan to stop the ban on TikTok next month?
We'll take a look at TikTok. You know, I have a warm spot in my heart for TikTok because I won youth by 34 points. And there are those that say that TikTok had something to do with it.
So now he wants there to be...
What in the... Was that AI? Because it was synced up for a bit. Hold on.
Warm spot in my heart for TikTok because I won youth by 34 points. And there are those that say that TikTok had something to do with it.
So now he wants there to be some sort of negotiation once he does take office. I would guess that he wants to use the platform as leverage over China's head, as he has requested that the Supreme Court pause this law's implementation until he actually gets into office. So we're gonna have to see what happens tomorrow, guys. I mean, this is crazy. This news just broke around 30 minutes ago. So I will continue to keep you updated, but y'all make sure you subscribe. I do want to know down below, how much are y'all using TikTok? I think I'm more of a Reels or YouTube Shorts guy myself.
Same.
But
not that I use them much, but like I'm mostly a Shorts dude. But I just started posting, like putting content on TikTok a lot. Come on,
I will say, I do receive completely different content on the different short form platforms.
True.
And can we just all say a prayer one time for my guy Jamani and his gambling addiction? Because without TikTok, my guy is done. Either way, y'all know it's been your boy, the Tan Superman, and some other platform bannings out here.
You can fund a gambling addiction on TikTok, huh? New channel idea?
Need to be covered, so I'm out. Peace!
IRL stream at the casino?